Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr. Speaker, the National Party's claim for some time has been that it is a wise economic manager. Oh, that's right. I know that's right.
That's the claim.
We don't get up and say things that are false.
That's the claim.
They have claimed that they are wise economic managers, that they know what they're doing, and above all, they can be trusted. Now, when all their windy rhetoric is blown away, we have found out about this rock star economy on which they campaigned in 2014, went up and down the country talking about a rock star economy. And others in the political hemisphere, namely New Zealand First, said, this is no rock star economy, this economy is heading to the rocks. And we had the courage of our convictions to go down and tell federated farmers before the last election precisely what was going to happen. And their leadership sat there and against the mass interest of their membership decided to ignore us. So may I ask my friends in the National Party, who was right then? And who's right now? That party is New Zealand First. We are not late onto the scene, but we know a darn sight more about the fundamentals of this economy than any of those bunch of newcomers over there being misled by their leadership.
That's right.
The member for Invercargill, the centre of a farming electorate, the capital part of the province, the biggest exporters per capita in the country, and she smiles and laughs at the demise of so many people in that part of the world. All those farmers who've engaged in the dairy conversions are now in deep and big trouble.
That's right. Yeah.
They're in big trouble when they elected in the first place. But now they're in the deeper trouble. And it's no laughing matter for those members around the country, Palmerston North, Taranaki, Wanganui, the Wairarappas, all those people who swore, put me in Parliament and I'll be your voice.
Whatever.
Oh, really?
Whatever.
Their voice? We haven't heard a mutter, nor a syllable, nor a sound, nor a murmur from these people about provincial and rural New Zealand. When their windy rhetoric's blown away, you'll see a government of spin and drift. And now more and more National Party people, and they are becoming legion, realise that John Key is no economic genius. Oh no. They realise that the worst training to run an agrarian, export-developed, export-dependent economy is not the Wall Street Journal or Merrill Lynch. And it's not speculating against your own country's economy and calling yourself some sort of banking genius. No sirree. More and more people out in the farm, because they're hard up against it, are realising that a party with a name called New Zealand First has got it right. Look, manufacturing, the critical thing for employment, is down against GDP. Down from 33, falling to 26%, and all they do over there is laugh and scoff. I mean, these are jobs, this is employment, this is how local regions build up, how towns and cities in the countryside, in the rural and provincial New Zealand area have a chance of surviving. Take, for example, exports as a percentage of GDP. Is it up? No, sir, it's down. And then you've got debt. Well, is it down? No, it's up 8 times. What John Key and that fiscal genius from Dipton inherited. He came in, it was $10 billion. Now it's heading towards $80 billion. And if any other party in this parliament ever tried that, they would be jeered and scoffed at. And so New Zealand First's message to the so-called power elite of this country, those who've got wealthier and wealthier, while the mass majority got poorer, is you're not going to get away with this con anymore. We're going to expose you for what you are. Is homelessness down or up?
It's gone up.
It's gone up.
Gone up.
Worse than that, you've got middle-class people who can't buy a home. They've got the background, the trading, the employment, they've worked for decades, and they can't buy a home. Unemployment. Mr. Key in the House today got up and he said, we employ more people now than we ever have. What a genius. What a genius. Since 1938, every government has been able to make that claim. But here's the worst thing. Our population is massively growing, not from natural growth of our population, no, mass immigration.
That's right.
Unemployment is going up. And don't forget, they've got the most nakedly hypocritical measurement. 1 hour a week takes you off the unemployment register. Just 1 hour a week. And there's not one person over there who could survive on that. But they are so heartless. They have so forgotten the principles of that once great party, National, where the word was spelt with a capital N and not the small n now, that they think this is okay because they know the day that New Zealanders discover in enough numbers the truth of the way they've mishandled the economy, then they're all gone. Like lightning, in whangarei, in Manawatu, in the Wairarapa. They've already gone to Northern, of course. They went down on a screaming heap in Northern. You know why? We went up and told them the truth. And people said, well, I thought there was something wrong, but now I know we've got an authority. Now we've got an authority at saying it. No, it's not vanity. No, that's not vanity. Vanity is sitting there and shouting out, the member for Hamilton West, when he can't point to one thing he's done since he's been in Parliament. Just name one thing. Oh, look, I'll give him half a minute. I'll come back in half a minute's time. Please find in half a minute's time just one thing that member has done, and don't know. He clearly hasn't studied points of order either.
No, he hasn't called for anything, and no,
sit
the
down,
right honourable
Sunshine.
Winston Peters has got.
Sit down. There's a good chap. Sit down. No.
Order. Order.
Here's been this former teacher.
You can't believe what he's
Here's been this former teacher who's been here. He's now the whip, and he doesn't even know how the timing system works for parliamentary speeches. He gets up and asks you, Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, who seriously understands the law here. He asks you
Please
this
don't
most
bring me
innocent
into this.
question. But then again, I suppose he got his job in a raffle as the National Party's whip. 1 hour a week. 1 hour a week, exactly. Unemployment down? No, it's up. And 1 hour a week gets you off the register. So true unemployment, if you look at the people who want more work, who want more than 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours a week to try and help their family to survive, that is all increasing. That doesn't stop the National Party, because if they don't turn off the immigration tap, they can carry on with this consumptive economy. But we all know it's a bubble, and it's going to blow, and it's going to blow in the Auckland housing market. Why, when you're confronted with such a housing crisis in Auckland, would you not stop artificial demand? And the reason is because their shallow, venal, egregious policy is all based on consumption. It's not based on exporting. It's not based on manufacturing. Oh, yeah, and massive donations from foreigners. Yeah, Orovita. Massive donations from foreigners. Hundreds of millions, hundreds of thousands of dollars. They go into a campaign dripping with money, promising the ordinary person that they'll look after them, and they don't give a damn. Rock star economy? No, just a lousy one-night stand. Just a lousy one-night stand. And more New Zealanders are coming to understand it. Now, let me just tell you this. You know, former US President George H.W. Bush said about this sort of economics, he called it voodoo economics. Voodoo economics. And voodoo it is. Voodoo it is. What have they done since they've come to power? They can't talk about anything they've done other than bail out their mates in South Canterbury. And they were so duplicitous about that, they never even capped the underwriting. They never capped the underwriting. It blew out by $800 million. And the member for Hamilton West is shouting out there, typically making a fool of himself. And as the English say, you know what the English say, of course? The English say the melody of the ignorant is to be ignorant without knowing it. And he is a prize example. No wonder after all this time, on the backbench, no one's going to promote him to even the most junior job as a junior minister. He should be in cabinet. If he was any good, he'd have been in cabinet a long time ago. I want to say that, member, if you're not making any progress, don't blame your colleagues. Look in the mirror. Walking in competence doesn't cut it. Walking in competence doesn't cut it. And shouting out, unrestrained, unrefined, without any class, is not what the National Party used to do. Now, come back to my point. Which party said that our dollar was massively overvalued? Only one party said that. Which party said that we are not going to allow our land to be sold to foreigners, and we want a land register and a home register so we'll know what we're talking about. Not get up like Stephen Joyce today. He gets up and he... What's the problem?
Or about 3 seconds.
I didn't get a bell.
I heard the bell, Mr. Peters. I was out
Mr.
there.
Speaker, well, everybody's having so much fun we forgot. But I want to close by saying this. This government should stop trying to pass the buck and for the first time for a long time own up to just how incompetent they are.